It looks like we have Gretchen Kirk here. Gretchen, are you with us? If so, if you could unmute for me.
Yes,
All right, and you are the owner and applicant for this application?
correct.
Okay, welcome. Are you expecting anyone else to join us here today on your side?
No,
Okay, great. So we also have Matt Lashide with us as well. Welcome, Matt.
Hey. Morning, David. Morning, Gretchen.
Morning.
Okay. I need to read through our hearing script, which will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and we can get started. So this is the April 2nd, 2025 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'll be presiding over the hearing today. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. Case before us today is case number ZH20250021. That is 2341 Kenton Street. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. For our purposes here today, Ms. Kirk, that will be you. This is your opportunity to tell me about the project, what exactly it is you're proposing, the zoning relief that you're requesting, and then of course why you think that zoning relief is appropriate and should be approved. If there were anyone here from the general public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. I'll hear from the planning department and Mr. Lashide to provide any testimony in addition to his staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that testimony and offer in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those issues on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue to postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, the last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing testimony here today, the zoning code requires that that testimony be sworn. And so if that's you, I'm going to collectively swear you in now. So if you could just raise your right hand, I need you to answer out loud. You swear or affirm that the testimony you shall provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Ms. Kirk, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, floor is yours.
So I assume you have the filing with you, but just to review that, we have a house and an adjacent property that we have combined. So 2339 Kenton Street is where the proposed driveway is. By code, the driveway should be 40 feet from the property line and then a parking space. The entire lot is 100 feet long. So that means that would be 60 feet out of 100 feet, which takes up a good part of the yard if it was built to code. So what we were proposing was to do the entire thing 40 feet back from the property line. So instead of 60 feet, 40 feet, that would be one parking space. There is there's a few doors up. I think it's 3 doors up the street. There's another property that does have a 40-foot driveway, no parking space, no garage. Probably the same lot size, if not the same, close.
Gotcha. So essentially you're asking for a shorter driveway than the zoning code requires. Is that right?
Correct.
40 feet instead of 60 feet.
Correct.
Okay. And I know you mentioned the size of the lot and some other properties with similar driveways. Any other reason why you think this is appropriate and won't adversely impact the neighborhood or the character?
Green space is a big one. Usability is another. If it's 60 feet long, you lose a lot of the usability of the yard itself. And green space in terms of a neighborhood property definitely seems more appealing, even though that's behind a fence. Green space is, hard to come by and an urban area like that.
Anything else you'd like to tell me about the project or why you think it should be approved?
I think that pretty much sums it up.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and hear from Matt. And you can also, respond and make closing statements after that as well. So Matt, anything you want to add here?
Sure. The zoning code requires that any parking in this district be at least 40 feet from the front lot line. The intent of that regulation, for like this district allows small apartment buildings, it allows daycares, churches, schools. If they have a bigger parking lot, the zoning district wants to maintain the streetscape, not have a parking lot in the front yard. So if there is any parking, ideally it would be in the backyard, further away from the sidewalk. Also, this neighborhood is served by alleys, so traditionally there would be parking in the back, access from the alley, and then it would be 40 feet or more from the front lot line. But that just, that's not really applicable for this property. There's a proposal to have a driveway in the side yard, which is a very common condition around Cincinnati. If it were not in a form-based code district, that's typically something that can be approved. As the applicant mentioned, there are other properties in the area with driveways that go to the side of the house. And really what's being asked here is to have a driveway that's 40 feet long instead of 60 feet long. I don't see any reason that would impact the neighborhood negatively. They could have the same driveway. It would just have to be longer, which would be more expensive and would cut into their usability of their backyard. Let's see here. So yeah, strict application of the code, they'd have to spend more money, pave more of their property. You'd still have a driveway in the side yard. It would just be longer. And as mentioned, there are several other properties in the neighborhood, and it's a very common condition around the city to have a driveway in your side yard that's approximately this length. And for those reasons, staff recommends approval.
All right. I don't think I have any other questions either. Well, Matt, maybe one more for Matt or the applicant. It looks like the proposed parking area or, sort of the back of the driveway would be any cars parked there would be shielded from traffic and pedestrians until you were looking right down the driveway. Is that right? I think that my guess is that this regulation is in place so that it prevents front yard parking or too many cars parked along, the front yards of properties. Is that your understanding, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. And you think the design that the applicant has proposed will allow for a parking space that, more or less complies with that motivation for the regulation?
Yeah, Ms. Kirk, can you confirm, is there a fence that's proposed in between the parking space and the sidewalk?
Yes, like if you have the paperwork in front of you, it's a green line that you see kind of chopping right in the middle. There is an existing fence there right now. We'll probably have to move that a little bit gate wise. First of all, make it a gate, not a fence. So what I propose is the parking space, like the last 20 feet of it, that would be behind a fence.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kirk, anything else you wanted to say in response to Matt's comments or any of my questions, or in closing or otherwise, before we adjourn here today?
Nope. I think that sums it up pretty much.
Okay. All right, well, I've had a chance to review the application materials on this and the staff report. Based on that and based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I agree with each of you and think that it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this particular application. And so I'm going to approve the application. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning that typically takes about 2 weeks. Hopefully knowing that it will be approved will allow you to continue planning or take any other steps that you can do before permitting. But as soon as I finish that decision, I will put it into a PDF and email it to you. As soon as you and Matt have that, you'll be able to take the next steps and he'll be able to approve the zoning permitting on his end. Any
Okay.
questions about any of that?
Nope.
Okay, great. Well, good luck with the project. I hope you have a great day and